It's me, Vicky Marie, with a cup of coffee or a mug of coffee. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Okay, so first of all, just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Special thanks, as always, to my members. Thank you so much. It's the members that keep this channel going. You know that it's a fantastic way you can support my channel by becoming a member. So thank you so much. Special thanks to my members. But thank you to everybody who watches, everybody who likes. Don't forget to leave your DNA on the like button. Anybody who shares my videos, any interaction you have with my channel helps the algorithm. So thank you so much. Oh, and of course, thank you to those of you who send super chats, people who buy Ko-fis, people who PayPal me, etc. Again, thank you. Without your support, I wouldn't be here talking to you now. So thank you so much. Now then, let me take that banner off now. So of course, Nightbot will be here from time to time, reminding you to like, etc. Nightbot, our new friend on this channel. So the Nightbot will be appearing at some point. Hopefully won't be throwing anybody off the channel. So if you haven't seen my channel before, my name's Vicky Marie. I am based in mainland Spain. And at the moment it is 10:38 on Sunday morning. If you're watching live is it the 10th of November? Sunday. It's Sunday. I hope you're all having a great weekend. I hope you all have a great Sunday. Of course, depending on where you're watching in the world, or depend what your time is at the moment. Maybe you're coming to the end of Sunday, depending on where you are, or maybe you've not hit Sunday yet. Maybe it's middle of the night where you are. So what we're going to talk about in this video, we're going to carry on talking about the floods in Spain. Of course, I live in Spain, and I thank you to everybody who has expressed concern, sent emails or messages, hoping that we're okay here. But yeah, luckily for us, these terrible floods that there's been sort of more up the other end of Spain from where we are. But, there have been storms and rain and everything, but not that much really. And currently it's only 11 degrees according to my computer, which is quite cool for Spain. But the sun's shining outside. I don't think there's going to be any rain today. But could be famous last words. You just never know, do you? Because apparently that's what happened in Valencia. The Valencian President said, "Oh, nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. There's a bit of rain, but this rain will be gone by later, and there's nothing to worry about." Of course, then just a couple of hours later, over 200 people were killed in flash floods in Valencia. And the Valencian people, they are so angry, so angry because they didn't get any warning. It seems like tourists in the area did get warnings from their respective countries, but not the Valencian people themselves. So they were completely caught out. Really, there's some awful, we've watched a few of the videos from the events when it happened. Terrible events. What we're going to do first in this video is we're going to have a little quick look back just over the scenes, and we're going to have a look. And then, of course, Valencia got visited by the King and Queen of Spain. Incredible scenes that, you just cannot believe that the royal family, the Spanish King and Queen, went and mixed with the people like that. They got pelted by mud. Really angry. Everyone was so angry, and they took their anger out on the King and Queen because the Prime Minister of Spain, Pedro Sanchez, he beat a hasty retreat because someone hit him on the back with a stick, hit him on the shoulder. So he was literally there 5 minutes and then he was gone. Whereas the king and queen, King Felipe and Queen Letizia, they carried on, pressed into the crowd, ignored the mud being flung at them, etc., and spoke to people and looked genuinely emotional and concerned for the people. And that's, believe me, that's won them a lot of brownie points. Tell you, if the royal family, if you want to, resurge in popularity, that's the way to do it. You can imagine that people really are full of respect now for the king and queen, for the way that they faced up to the protesters, and were brave, if you like, brave or stupid, whichever way you look at it, because they were very febrile scenes. Anyway, there's been more scenes now. So at the weekend, last night, I believe, there was a massive manifestation, or manifestación, as they call it in Spain, a massive protest in Valencia. Honest to God, the scenes are incredible. The number of people just shows you the power of the people. If people did all get together, unified, no wonder that the establishment wants to divide and rule, because when you see the people all get together, because everyone's together about the Valencia thing, gosh, it's breathtaking. The protests are breathtaking. We're going to be looking at them. So what we're going to start with. So I'm going to say hello to you all in a moment. I just want to show you some of the scenes from that incident in Valencia. Now, there's been more floods in Spain, but not in the same area, in Girona. And we're going to have a look at the map of Spain and see what sort of areas we're talking about. Now, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you this video. It's quite upsetting, just to let you know, because I'm going to just show you some of the scenes and the things of the royal family. Let me say hello to everyone first, actually. Hi, Chumba. Hi, David. Hi, Kelly. And hi to everyone watching at home. I know not everybody wants to join in the chat. And hi to Replay Crew. So these are scenes from inside an old people's home during the flood. It's just awful, because some old people did die in these residencias, as they call them here. But a lot was saved. So, but. How awful. If you had a relative, in a residencia, an old person's home, just awful. Because they can't do anything. A lot of them, they're in wheelchairs, so they can't they can't walk. So the actual staff had to get them out, up onto higher floors. Very sad. A lot of these people, this is in the shopping centre, I think.
Ще ті, хто припаркувався на першому,
trapped in IKEA, this woman.
Мерсик же он там пливе, вода все прибуває, виглядає.
They couldn't get out. Oh my God. Anyway, so as you know, I won't be parking in any underground car parks anymore. I was saying that on the video yesterday, after watching how some people got trapped in underground car parks. Just won't. If I can avoid it. I mean, some places you go, the only choice you've got is an underground car park. But if there's any choice whatsoever, I won't be going in one. That's for sure. So yeah, those were some of the. Imagine when you're like my older sister. She's in a home and she's got dementia. Imagine how that would feel. Those residents, they wouldn't know what the hell was going on, would they? And anyway, as I say, very sadly, some elderly people did die, were killed, but in most of the places, the staff worked really quickly, got them onto a higher floor, and most people were okay. But it's the trauma, isn't it? Even if they were okay in the end, so traumatic. It's traumatic to anybody, but to an elderly person and someone with dementia, you wouldn't know what the hell was going on. So awful. Anyway, so where am I going now? I have written a little list of, because I quite often I forget. I get all things prepared and then I forget what I'm planning to show you. Oh, that's right. So we're going to look first of all at the King and Queen. So those, we watched, there was like apocalyptic scenes, really, weren't there, in Valencia. Actually, we'll look at the latest scenes first in Girona. Let me get a map of Spain up. Now, Spain is a huge place. So these places, places are far away from each other. Spain's enormous. I don't think people, I think most people, a lot of British people anyway, they just think, oh, Spain's just a place you go on your holidays. And they don't think of it as a massive country with all sorts of things going on. It's not all beach holidays, etc. And Girona is on the border. Somewhere up here, isn't it? Girona. I'm not. There it is. So this is Girona. This is where the latest scenes of flooding are. So it's in the north of Spain. And we've had flooding around Barcelona. We've had flooding in Valencia. So the flooding seems to have sort of gone along the coast, really, like that. You've got Valencia, Barcelona, Girona. And at the end of this video, I'm going to read you some bits from a news article that a student of mine sent me, which is a scientist saying why they think these floods have happened, and they're saying that the politicians, they've been warning for ages that these type of scenes were going to happen, and the politicians are ignoring them, which politicians ignoring scientists. Well, that never happens, does it? And the thing is, I think politicians, they ignore things that might be too much trouble to, if it's something that hasn't got a quick fix, or it's going to cost too much money, or I don't know, or they don't think it'll be popular with the people. They do ignore things. And we saw that during COVID, scientists, at the end of the day, they advise things and politicians didn't do it. They listened to all the advice and then just did what they felt like doing. And this is what in this article, this particular scientist is saying has happened in Spain, that they've been warning the Valencian government for ages that these sort of scenes could happen, and the Valencian government has been ignoring them completely. So let's have a look at the latest scenes in Girona.
Everyone needs a holiday.
Yeah, certainly do need a holiday, but what we're going to Qatar, thank you. And when does it? How can I get there? Well, you have to wait for the advert.
It's really beautiful here. It's so stunning. I don't know many places in the world where you can see dunes that go into the ocean like this. Come join us on our Qatari adventure.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, thank you. Yeah, so these are the latest scenes. These were on the 7th of November. So after the Valencian flood, this is what was happening in Girona. But what the hell's going on? All over Spain. So Barcelona had the same thing. So there's got to be a reason. It's either climate change, or maybe some people are saying all the dams have been taken away. You know, this is this sort of part of me that feels like, how could you give warning for this, really? How, you know, how could you give warning? How would you know? Yeah. So that's what it's been like in various places. Now we're going to go and look at the scenes from Valencia. These are incredible scenes of the king and queen going to Valencia. I mean, they were scenes that have never been seen before in Spain, probably not many places. And as I say, Pedro Sanchez, the Prime Minister, he was there 5 minutes and then he was gone after he received a bang on his shoulder. Someone hit him on the shoulder with a stick. And as his convoy sort of left, everyone, you know, people were banging the car and everything. People were especially angry, I think, with Pedro Sanchez. But then the king, which we did see some of the scenes of the king. I did show that, but I don't think I've shown you the Queen, Letizia, yet, and how she was. Very dramatic scenes that you can't really, you know, it's incredible really that the king and queen were that brave or stupid, whichever way you look at it, to go into this crowd. So here's the king here just behind this guy's hand. He is very tall. So he's very distinctive. That's it. I mean, he would definitely stand out. They're all mud spattered. They tried putting that umbrella up, but in the end, he just put it down and he just marched into the middle of the crowd. You know, obviously he's surrounded by police. There's a lot, but I don't think they're really protecting him that well. You know, he's being pelted by mud. Anyone could stab him, shoot him. You know, there was no security control to stop people from coming into that area. You know, it was a very, very, imagine if someone would have murdered the king. You know, what, oh God, there really would have been you know, civil war or something in Spain. But people were so angry, as you can imagine. Over 200 people died. Also, the far right did sort of jump on the bandwagon a bit, as they tend to do. So there was a bit of that as well. And they, of course, you know, Spain, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of unrest in Spain just generally, like there seems to be all over the world. So this was just like a powder keg, really.
Dejar pasar. Dejar pasar. Luego peor, luego seremos mierda. No insultéis, no insultéis. Joder, no insultéis.
Quite a lot of bad language. You might have, if you speak Spanish, you'll have heard quite a lot of bad language there. So as you can see, the king's he went over to this group of young lads and he's trying to talk to them. He's covered in mud, but it didn't faze him. You know, he just went ahead to try and talk to people. people were moaning about the government to him, and he just said, look, this is a democracy. This country is a democracy. Of course, it was his father that brought democracy to Spain, because, of course, Franco, after the Civil War that Franco won, Spain was a dictatorship under Franco for quite a long time. A lot of older people still look back fondly on those memories, you know. As I've said before, dictators are not unpopular with everyone, you know. It's like Franco was very popular with many people. But his father, King Juan Carlos, of course, during the Civil War, the monarchy had been done away with. After the Civil War, Franco won, they got rid of the monarchy. But Franco sort of, King Juan Carlos, who was the next in line for the throne, or he would have been, except Spain became a dictatorship. Franco took King Juan Carlos sort of under his wing as a protege. And Franco's intention was that after he died, King Juan Carlos would become like a head of state, almost take over him. You know, he would bring the royal family back to be a sort of a different sort of dictatorship. Anyway, when Franco died, that's my dog making that noise. When Franco died, King Juan Carlos, he was a young, handsome, popular king, announced he wasn't going to be a dictator. Spain was going to become a democracy, and it was him who brought democracy to Spain. And there was a little bit of a coup. So, you know, a lot of the old school sort of Guardia Civil, etc., they didn't like the idea of that. They wanted Spain to carry on as it was. There was a little bit of a coup in the parliament. Anyway, it didn't come to anything. And Spain became a democracy, and it was King Juan Carlos, his father. This is King Felipe. It was his father that created that. So it became a democracy, but with a royal family, but a very, very scaled down royal family. Nothing like nothing like the British royal family. They haven't got all the regalia and all the thrones and the crowns, and which, you know, they could do if they wanted to, because of course they were conquistadores. You know, they had an empire as well at one time. Anyway, as time went on, King Juan Carlos got less and less popular. He was like the darling of Spain, you know, for bringing democracy. Everybody loved him. And then as he got older, he just did so many stupid things. He was embezzling money. He was going off shooting elephants in Africa during the recession. He had loads of mistresses, and you know, he had to go. So he abdicated in favour of his son, King Felipe. And Felipe is quite popular. So it'll be even more popular now, that's for sure. Anyway, King Juan Carlos, he's in exile. He's not allowed to come back to Spain, or if he does, he will be arrested. So he wants to come back to Spain to die. He wants to die in Spain. But they've said to him, well, if you come back to Spain, even though he's quite elderly now, as you can imagine, he must be at least in his 80s. They said, if you come back to Spain, you're going to prison, and you'll die in prison. So he's not coming back. He's staying where he is, which I think he's in Saudi Arabia or somewhere like that, or I'm not sure exactly where he is. Anyway, there was a big hoo-ha when the Queen died, our Queen, the British Queen, not Camilla, who's not the Queen, never will be the Queen, never has been. I'm talking about the Queen. When she died, there was a big hoo-ha in Spain because Juan Carlos went to her funeral, because he's related to our royal family, to the Queen. He was related to the Queen, so he went to the funeral. There was a massive fuss from Spain because everyone demanded that he should be arrested as soon as he went into Europe, you know, and went to Britain, which has an extradition treaty with Spain. that the Spanish people were clamoring that he should be arrested and brought back to Spain to face the charges that are against him. Anyway, needless to say, that didn't happen. He wasn't arrested, of course. The establishment's not going to allow that to happen, are they? And he went back to wherever it is he's in exile. So in the meantime, King Felipe has been trying to build up this sort of, trying to restore, some faith in the monarchy. And I do think he has managed that. And what he did, and Leticia, as you'll see in a moment, definitely has helped. I think the monarchy is not going anywhere in Spain, that's for sure. What else was I going to... Oh, and when they had, I mentioned the other day in the video, but just in case you didn't see it. So when they had the coronation, like when King Juan Carlos abdicated and King Felipe took over, it literally was King Juan Carlos took off the belt that is like the sign of being commander-in-chief of the military, took his belt off, handed it to Felipe. That was it. That was the coronation. I nearly said Coronation Street. No crowns, no thrones, no bloody golden carriages and all that shite that you have with the British royal family. So that's how low key the Spanish royal family is, and that is probably what will keep it popular. And I think what he did here and what Leticia did here will add to that. Let me just fast forward a little bit and we'll get through it. Oh. So what they're shouting there is fuera, fuera, get out, get out. I don't know if they're shouting that at the king or if they're shouting it at Pedro Sanchez. I mean, the anger. I mean, so much anger. Gosh. And what he just said there, hijo de puta, is about the worst swear word you can say in Spanish. I don't know if he was shouting that at the king or at Pedro Sanchez. Oh dear me. Oh God, imagine shouting hijo de puta at the king. God, I think they were shouting it at the king. Anyway, they were also shouting asesino, murderer, murderer. But of course, it's not the king's fault. None of it was the king's fault. It's the politicians that didn't give enough warning, etc. But the people needed someone to take their anger out on, I suppose.
Luca, vamos avanzando. Que 5.000, todos aquí. Esto es un pueblo muerto. Han venido.
Okay, so these were the scenes. Now let's see the Queen now. So we haven't on my channel, I haven't shown the videos of the Queen. Queen Leticia. If I can find. And she again, you'll see when I find it. Come on, where's Leticia? Yeah, she didn't really seem to have much protection. They've been protected by a pair of umbrellas. You know, I mean, come on. It's just like, it's incredible. I think it was such a dangerous situation. You know, how nothing happened, you know, serious, I don't know. Oh, it's disappeared. Where is it? This is where they're shouting asesino, which is murderer. Yeah, they were saying Pedro Sanchez, hijo de puta. You hear me? Now, this is after, but I'm looking for the scenes with Leticia. This is Leticia here.
También la dificultad de comprender cómo funcionan todos los mecanismos y la...
This is.
Reina, no por ustedes, con ustedes no por ustedes, señora.
So Leticia was right in the thick of it all. She was visibly upset. She was crying quite a lot. She went and embraced I mean, you know, these are young men. They could do something to her, you know. They're young, strong men. I think her bravery did take them aback, you know, and I think that she'll have won a lot of respect. But, oh, my God, you know, rather her than me. But, yeah. You know, where's the police? Can't even see any police there. They should be right tight. Oh, that looked like a security guard or something. But, you know, just incredible. I thought it was incredible.
Reina, no por ustedes. Reina, no por ustedes. Con ustedes no es. No por ustedes, señora.
So they're pretty incredible scenes, aren't they? You wouldn't expect the royal family, would you, you wouldn't expect the royal family to go out like that and take that chance, you know, so dangerous. But anyway, they did. Brave, humble. Yeah, I agree, Maria. Hi, Maria. You know, because they didn't have to do it. You know, the thing is, they didn't have to do it. And then they went out and they did it. And they came over as very genuine, I think. So the Spanish people are really angry. I mean, really, really angry. I mean, there's been this massive mobilization of clothes, food, because of course then all the animals, animal refuges, all their food was ruined, and you know, lots of rescue animals were killed, and lots of animals out in the wild. You know, it's just awful. It's been just such an awful tragedy. So the whole of Spain has mobilized to sort of try and help out a bit. Every single every single town, you know, even my little village, which is miles away from where all this has happened, they've sent coaches of people to help with the clear up, and clothes and food and water. You know, it's been, the whole of Spain has mobilized to help Valencia in particular. Valencia have had the worst of it. And the worst thing was the mud, wasn't it? You know, it was the mud that was left on the streets, and it's just ruined everything. You know, so people, not only they've lost their cars, you know, maybe they've lost their family, they've lost their pets, they've lost all their possessions, they've lost all their memories, you know, their beds, their clothes. You know, well, they're lucky if they've kept their life, I suppose. But this mud, because all this water came down like from the barrancos and, you know, the campo and everything. So it's just was full of mud and debris, and it's a massive clear up job. It's going to take weeks, really. So on Saturday night, the president, now the way Spain is divided, so you've got Pedro Sanchez, who's the president of Spain, you know, and then you've got the autonomous communities, which suppose you could think in the UK would be like counties. But they've all got their own government as well. They've got their autonomous governments, and Valencia's prime minister or president, the president of the Valencian community. Let's have a look at him, because he is in, I'll put some windows down while I'm here. He is in massive problems because he's getting the full blame, let's say, when I find him. And his name is Carlos Mazón. Let's have a look at him. Now, he's not been president of Valencia very long. I think he's only a year. The previous president was called Puig or something. I didn't like him much because for some reason he decided, Valencia is a huge place. He's Puig, who was in charge before. He's very old school. He was very old school. But anyway, this guy took over a year ago. He looks younger, doesn't he? He's not, how old would you say he was? Maybe 50 or something, late 40s, early 50s. And he took over, and people thought, oh, he'll be good because he's younger, because Puig was so old school, the previous one. There's been some scandals surrounding him, the usual affairs, etc., or whatever. But anyway, I think generally for that year that he's been in charge until now, well, put it this way, I'd never heard about him, so he must have been doing okay, because you only tend to hear, I do follow the Spanish news as well, and you only tend to really hear about people when people are not happy with them, like Pedro Sanchez. A lot of people are not happy with, but I've never heard of this guy before. So I didn't even realise that Puig had gone and he'd taken over. So I'm presuming that's because up to now he's done quite a good job. But now the people are angry. And when I say angry, so they want his resignation, because he's, at the end of the day, he's the president in charge of the Valencia region. They were not given any warning. Some of them, they didn't get the warning alert until they were there was one guy who was actually up a tree watching dead bodies float by, he said, when the alert came through on his mobile. So that's how late the alert was. Everything had happened already. And then suddenly this alert came through on the phone. So that's why people are so angry. So they've all got together on Saturday in Valencia. And yeah, this is what happened. Very, very scary. So many people. I would have hated to be amongst this crowd, but let's have a look. They're just massive. You know, massive amount of people. And of course it started off all peaceful like these things do, and then it got a little bit hairy. So here's the police, you know. I tell you, the Spanish police, I've seen when there's been riots before, you know, they'll get the water cannons out and, you know, they don't mess about, but didn't put people off being there this time. You know, they are quite heavy handed, just as all the police are, I suppose. Yeah, so it all started off okay, and then of course it all gets a bit out of hand, doesn't it? And then the police started actually fighting with the crowd. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with this Carlos guy. I don't know when the next elections are due, but he's not going to get in again, is he? I don't think. It's unlikely. But of course, the thing is, this is Valencia Centre. You know, the community, the Valencian community is massive. So he may still get in because people might still vote for him. But I don't think anyone's going to vote for him from the actual, you know, Valencia, the place itself, Valencia, is the capital of the Valencian community. But the Valencian community is enormous, you know. So it's like you might have York is the capital of Yorkshire, I suppose, or the main city in Yorkshire. But Yorkshire itself is massive. But then, you know, quadruple that at least, because Valencia is a huge community. It's one of the main communities in Spain. So is he going to get in again, or is he going to resign, or, you know, what's going to happen? But anyway, how often are they going to have these protests, these manifestaciones? Wow. Oh. See, the thing is, in the thick of this, there'll be political protesters acting from either side or for whatever side. Because you know that whenever there's big protests like this, there'll always be some groups will jump on the bandwagon. Notice a lot of these throwing the chairs and everything, they're just like young guys. And, are they just jumping on the bandwagon? Are they really indignant citizens from the areas that were affected? Or are they just jumping on the bandwagon to liven up a Saturday night? We just never know, will we really? But that's always happens, doesn't it? Whenever there's protests, there'll always be someone who'll try and hijack the protests. Oh, let's just watch this one.
La pala, en vez de venir aquí, la pala. La pala y boca, la agarro. La agarro. ¡Mira el rey! No quería ver, por un caso de distancia.
Mira, da esto no hay derecho. No hay derecho. ¡Mira, el barro!
La pala, menos palmadita y más.
Por favor, quitar el cáncer de presidente.
¡Quitarlo ya!
¡Por no tener
¡No lo puedo traer!
No. I just think, I can't believe it's like my adopted country, and all that. These scenes are just incredible. This Queen Letizia, you can tell this is not forced, it's like she's genuinely emotional for these people, because I can feel it, because I'm getting emotional. I only get emotional if it's real emotion that I'm seeing. You get, somebody faking emotion, it just leaves me cold. I just think it's so refreshing to see, like, the royal family, like, with genuine, like, not a staged photo thing, like we get in the UK, where anyone who's protesting is just taken away. Nobody's allowed to say anything, or, again, everyone trying to pretend everything's brilliant. Like, I think the British royal family are treated like some sort of bloody emperors or something. I mean, it's horrible. Now look at all this that came out in Dispatches, that Channel 4 programme about the royal family and Prince William being a slum landlord, and all the money that Charlie Boy makes from charities and the NHS. And he said, you haven't seen that on the news, on the main news. It's just like, oh no, the royal family are all brilliant. They're all working so hard. They go to bloody Wimbledon for the day and say they're working, or they go and do a 10-minute walk around and they call that work. They don't. He wouldn't know work if it hit him if it slapped him across the face. So seeing something so genuine and spontaneous as this, although I do think is dangerous, it is nice to see. It does sort of make you emotional. I mean, look at this poor woman there. She's just covered in mud. She's probably just been clearing up a load of shite, and she's still, everything she owns is gone. And I think that just that scene there, with them with their gloves on and covered in mud and everything, and the Queen hugging her, like, spontaneously and genuinely emotional for them. is really quite nice. You know, it's like almost restores your faith in human nature, because there's so many things that we see that make us think, oh God, people are twonks, aren't they? But this restores you. Oh. Do you know what it reminds me of a bit? You know, we used to see it a bit with Princess Diana, didn't we? We'd see like a genuine sort of caring emotion, etc. I don't think we see it. Sorry, not even, in my opinion, not even from Catherine. I know a lot of people like Catherine. You know, to me, we don't see that with any of the royal family now. A total genuine empathy with the people, etc. You know, whatever. That's what this reminds me of a little bit. What Princess Diana used to do. She looks sort of overwhelmed, doesn't she? I mean, it must be overwhelming. I just can't believe she's in the middle of all that. Where's the police?
¿A qué coño venís? ¿A mancharos? ¿Que molesta con el qué, hijos de puta? ¿Que molesta a mancharos? ¡Hacer una pala! ¡La gente del gobierno un perro! ¡La gente muriéndose!
¡No vayáis! ¡No vayáis aquí! ¡Estamos muertos ya! ¡Estamos muertos!
¡Lávate la caramba!
¡Tráelo aquí!
Es un poco normal.
aquí al Sánchez! ¡No me viste ahí a sacar!
Cara reventada de la gente.
¡La familia!
De momento es normal. La puta casa reventada.
I bet when she got home, she turned around to her husband and said, I can't believe you took me there. What did you take me there for? No, I'm only joking. But God, I mean, she genuinely looks overwhelmed, and it must have been quite scary, really.
Por eso pasa esto. Mucha muerte, no es así. No podían haber avisado. No podían haber avisado de esto.
Vale, vale. El azul, cuidado.
I'm not sure why he's got blood all over his face, the guy. So you know, people have been throwing things, but.
Que se van a mojar los pies.
Que no nos avisaron y además la ayuda llegó muy tarde. Nos hemos ido
Estamos muriendo, nos estamos muriendo, todo muy fuerte, nos estamos muriendo. Tenemos 3 días para que venga el ejército, 3 días. No tenemos nada. Me da igual, aquí eso pasó el martes, a las 2 de la mañana.
Yeah, she's saying now it took 3 days for anyone to come to help as well.
Estaba la gente allá afuera recogiendo mierda. Con lodo hasta ahí, no tenemos ropa, no tenemos comida, no tenemos nada. Cada 3 días para que venga el puto ejército. ¿Cuántos militares hay? ¿Cuántos? Han venido 500.
She's saying 3 days we had no food, no water, no nothing. Nobody arrived for 3 days. That woman's getting really angry. The woman's getting angry with her, but it's not her fault, is it? So, yeah. So, God, it's all going on in Spain. It's like, you know, what is going to happen? Is anything going to happen? Or are these things going to carry on? Because let me just find that again. So these are the recent floods again. These are not the Valencia ones. These are like yesterday, I think, in Girona. So even CNN has been covering it. So they're saying these are, well, not today, yesterday's scenes. So it's like Groundhog Day, but in a different area. But nobody's died, apparently. From what I can gather, it's that mud that does it. You know, you can cut the water is one thing that's bad enough, but when you've got to get rid of all this mud, that's what's virtually impossible, isn't it? God. Bloody hell. Oh, there's always oh gosh, I hope they haven't alerted to a body there. They're using the dogs to find bodies, but I think nobody has been killed in this area, so I don't think it would be a body. Don't know. Good God. You just can't believe it. I hope I never have to see that up close and personal. Like, you know, hope we never have that in my area. God, the insurance companies will be going mental. Imagine the insurance companies now. Insurance companies will be going out of business. Bloody hell. Oh my God, the truth. Surely there's got to be some machine they can use. Good God. So it's true, you wake up some mornings and, you know, little things go wrong and you think, oh God, you know, today's going to be a shit day, but it's not as shit as the day there, I mean, that's for sure. Yeah, I've thought about that, the hoses from these fire trucks. Surely can't they just wash that mud away? Can't they just put a hose
Yo vine
on
de
it?
Albacete a Alicante, de Alicante aquí. Y me ha quedado al lado de Lidl, al Pelígono. Y luego me trajeron la policía.
So he's come from Alicante to help out. So he's travelled quite a way to help out. I just don't. Why can't they just get the hoses on it, like the fire services? Because, you know, you're not going to be worried about ruining anything, are you? Because everything's ruined already. It's just to get the mud out. Let's have a little. Just have a little fast forward. What was that? He's walking his dog. Oh, through it all, God. I mean, it really does look like apocalypse, doesn't it? That's exactly, it looks like the world's ended or there's been a nuclear bomb or something. I don't know. Just cannot believe it. All those cars. Oof. This is going to, that's clever. This is going to have a massive effect on Spain for a long, long time. You know, this is like a huge disaster. I don't think he's declared it a national disaster. I think that was, well, look at these poor guys having to find bodies in tunnels or look to see if there are any bodies. Hopefully there won't be any. That's a hell of a job, isn't it? God, hopefully they all got out in time. Just, you know, horrible job for people to do as well. That's his motorbike shop or somebody's motorbike shop. Wow. So just devastation, isn't it? Anyway, what I want to look at now then is this article that a student of mine sent me that is from this scientist talking in The Guardian about how he tried to warn the Valencian government, Valencian government about this. So let's have a look at this article. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a long article. But it's from Juan Bordera. I tried to warn Valencia's government about flooding, but it didn't listen. And he says that the right-wing region, because Valencia is... So although the president of Spain, Pedro Sanchez, he's a socialist, he's a left-winger, but Valencia is run by the right wing. And this guy is saying, and it's only, you know, what he's saying. I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying what he's, relaying to what he said. Apparently, Juan Bordera is a climate journalist and an independent MP for Compromís in the Valencian parliament. And he says the right-wing regional authorities ignored the climate crisis science and dismissed the weather forecast, and the consequences are their responsibility. So we don't need to go over the scenes, etc., because we've looked at that. So what he says is the regional government received every possible warning about the floods from a huge range of sources. The scientific community has been warning for decades that the entire Mediterranean is becoming a breeding ground for increasingly powerful storms, which are covering an ever-widening spread of territory. The State Meteorological Agency, AMET, warned 5 days before the floods that there would be a potentially unprecedented rainstorm. And 12 hours before the public warnings from our local government, it specified that the situation was at its highest level of risk. Now, I can confirm that that is true because AMET actually for ages, for weeks, before this happened, was saying there was going to be a storm, but it's like in the end you stop taking any notice of it because it's almost like they knew there was a storm up there brewing, but they didn't know exactly when it would happen. So for ages now they've been, because I follow them on my Facebook or whatever, some app, Twitter, I can't remember what I follow them on. And, I get the warnings from AMET, and they've been saying for ages, because there's been loads of times, I've gone out and, got provisions in just so that I didn't have to go out the next day because it was supposed to be a storm. And it's not happened. It's happened loads of times. They've warned us there's going to be storms and it didn't happen. And then suddenly it happened. So what my impression always has been with the weather people, AMET, for example, they know there's a storm up there somewhere accumulating, I don't know, brewing, whatever way you want to talk about it. But I really do not think they know exactly when it's going to fall. They just know it's coming. So as soon as they say there's one there, that's when precautions should start to be taken, because I've seen it happen in Spain before. You literally, once I went out for lunch with my sister and my cousin who were here on holiday, and we went out for lunch, and my son, I think he was 11 or something. I can't remember exactly how old he was, but he didn't want to go. So we weren't going far. We were only up the road. So I said, okay, you can stay in the house. And we went off for lunch. And literally, as we left, it was bright sunlight. It was sunshiny, lovely day. And while we were sat in the restaurant, this cloud just came. Honest to God, it was literally instant. Just sudden, everything went black. All the sun disappeared. And the next minute, we had a Dana or a Gota Fria or whatever they call it here, a massive storm just out of nowhere. Literally went from sitting in a restaurant, looking out the window, it's a lovely day. And then 5-10 minutes later, this black cloud went and the heavens opened and that was it. So, of course, I'm panicking because I've left my son at home, trying to ring. No, the electricity had gone off. Not where we were, but at home. So I said, look, we're going to have to, God, when I think about it now, it was so dangerous what I did, because my car was up to the top of its wheels in water, but it was only a 10-minute drive. It literally probably wasn't even that. It was literally around the corner. But I said, look, I waded. It was like Titanic. I waded through this freezing cold water, and it was freezing cold because it'd been hailstoning. So it was ice water. Waded through this water to get the car where I'd parked it, brought it round to the restaurant, the doorway of the restaurant, and my sister and my cousin got in, and off we came back here to the house. Oh my God. And when I got here, we plowed through water, thinking about it now and looking at those scenes, so lucky. Got here, the whole street was out, the mayor was out, the police were here, they'd had this terrible storm, and I've come in the house like, saying to my son, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? And he's just like, yeah, I'm fine now, the electric's back on. He's just playing on his PlayStation, like, nothing, he wasn't bothered in the slightest. So I'd never forget wading through that freezing cold water. This is what mothers will do, isn't it? It's like, they say you get this suit, because I'm just saying, just got to get to my son, hope he's all right. And putting really my own life and my cousin and sister's life in danger. But how could I not? Like, if I could have got hold of him on the phone and he would have said he was okay, that's fine. But because the electric had gone, the phone had gone off. We weren't really using mobiles, and it was a long time ago. And literally, he's just sat there on his PlayStation because the electric had come back on by then. He's quite happy. But the whole street, because all the garages were flooded. They've since then, I've got to say, for the town hall of my little village, they put in all these drainage points now, and now we don't get any of that unless the actual sewers block up. That's another thing. But they have started to come round really like once a month now and clear out all the, because you do get a lot of sand, branches and things like that. It's funny, it's amazing what accumulates. Leaves, even though there's there's always leaves in my sort of grate thing. I don't know where they come from. There's no bloody trees around There's no trees. Where do the leaves come from? They must come off plants from people's patios or something. There's always loads of leaves, so every now and again you have to give it a good clear out because they can get backed up. But as far as rain is concerned, even when we had the big floods here, so not the big floods, the big rain here, just before COVID, it didn't come into the garage at all. You know, it was because the town hall did put in these special drainage points. It's definitely worked. I've forgotten what we're saying now. Oh, so yeah, so what I'm saying is, although I think AMET knows when there's a storm around, I don't think they can know or do know when exactly that storm is going to deposit. You know, it's like, so they give you these warnings, and as we had these warnings for ages, and in the end you're thinking, oh God, they're warning it again, you know. But I think once this, what I'm going to think in the future is once they start giving out those warnings, you know, it's coming sometime. Might not come tomorrow because they put out a yellow alert or an orange alert or a red alert, and then you just don't know exactly when they're going to fall. But I think you have to think that if they say that it's going to fall, you've just got to presume that sooner or later it is. So, yeah. So, 12 hours before the public warnings from our local government, it specified that the situation was at the highest level of risk. So I think that's all AMET can do. They don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but when they declare a red alert, the highest level of risk, you know it's going to be soon. And by that time, by the time that the official warnings reached people's homes by text that evening, many homes were already underwater. And that's that sort of story that I was telling you about the guy who's saying he was in the tree when his alert came through. He was in a tree watching dead bodies float by. That's exactly what he said. So the University of Valencia, however, heeded warnings from the scientists and told its students to stay at home that day, which probably saved many lives. That's interesting, isn't it? The university at least took the advice. So the regional government of Valencia also received warnings directly from me, and meaning him, not me, and other people far removed from its self-defeating management model, which was based on denying scientific evidence and a business-as-usual mentality. The truth is that nothing is usual anymore, nor will it ever be for the people of these devastated communities. It reminds me a bit of Jaws, isn't it? It's like, you know, that the film about the shark and the governor of the state or whatever, whoever he was. He wanted, it was the summer season started, so he didn't want people not to go in the water because he didn't want this, because they want business as usual. You know, the trouble is the politicians, they hit for the guy who's in charge of Valencia, the president. He wants, you know, the economy to go well and all that. So he's thinking more of that instead of thinking, you know, nothing is more important than saving lives. Never mind business as usual, you know. Anyway, in September 2023, members of Compromís, which is his party, a left-wing alliance in the Valencian Regional Parliament, presented a proposal tackling the increasing risk of flooding in the Mediterranean, and the government voted against it. So he's saying the Valencian government voted against that proposal. And he says, just last month, we raised the issue 3 further times, even presenting an urgent proposal that was to be debated in November. Anyway, none of it's been taken up. So he's saying we have the knowledge that the ocean temperatures of the entire planet are rising to dangerous levels and are a cause of increasingly extreme weather phenomena. And we have already exceeded 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial temperatures, which was the safety limit set by the scientific community. We're now racing against the clock to tackle a planetary emergency. Okay. Now, I'm going to put this link in chat. Hi, Heather. Hi, Laurie. Oh, hang on. Say I'm going to put it in chat. Oh. Anyway, I'll try it. Where is the... Yeah, I've put the link in chat if you want to read the whole article. So anyway, I've got to go now. I hope you found that interesting. Sorry, Heather and Laurie, just coming in. But anyway, I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you.